do with our winged beauties. This is the one that we're going to be using. So the first thing I want to show you guys is making a jar. So I made a jar where I just kind of paper pieced, and it's really, really easy to do. I'm using this stamp set right here, which is How You Been from Lawn Fawn, but there's 1,000,001 mason jar stamps out there. And then I have the dies. There's also a die to do a shaker, which my second card is going to be a shaker. And so, and then you have this piece right here, which is the jar top, which you can do separately. But all you do is, I'm not using the die for this because I'm just kind of showing you really quickly because I've already made these jars and actually showed them in a video that I did last month in my embellishments on the 11th. I just showcased these jars, but I didn't show you how I made them. And so I made two different ones. One is a shaker, and then the other one is just a paper pieced jar. So here this is. And then all you do is you stamp it again, that jar stamp again, on your pattern paper. And then you just cut it out again, but you go right inside the black line. And so with this particular paper pad, the way that these papers are, it actually looks like these little dragonflies are in the jar. And so set that aside. And so then all you do is just glue this piece inside, and then you've got a jar where it looks like you've caught some dragonflies in your jar. So for this card that we're going to make, not that one, that's my shaker one. I think it's this one right here. I have an A2 size card, and I'm using, I don't know if these are birch trees, or they almost look like eucalyptus actually. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our paper down. And this is a pretty easy card. And that's Barely Arts glue. I did get that glue from the Not Too Shabby shop. Now, if you're, you don't want to commit to the subscription pad of the month, when they have leftover paper pads, they do put them, Jamie does put them in the shop. So you can buy them a la carte or a one-time purchase. And so then I just used one of the many dies that I have that make hills, and I just used a gold piece of paper to make sort of my grass. It's not be grass, but just to kind of make this little bottom for my card. I just use a little scrap that I have. And that just goes like that. Okay, so now I've got my jar, which I've got it on foam. And that separate piece of the top, I went ahead and silver embossed that. And so it's going to be kind of like this. And then I've got sort of my guy that looks like he's escaping or she's escaping. My little dragonfly is escaping from the jar. So that's kind of the idea behind this card. And so let me go ahead, and this is on foam. So I'm going to go ahead and take this down. This is Altenew foam. I actually bought a ton of their adhesive. I really, really like their foam for just everyday use. So we're going to go ahead and put that down like this. And so then I've got my little dragonflies, I guess they are, on foam. And so it's going to be escaping the jar. And so the way that I did it, it looks kind of like little dragonflies are in the jar. And so So there we go. And then we have this one, which I'm just gonna place right. Guess we'll just put it kind of like right here, hanging on the jar. So, trying to let all his friends out, telling them, don't worry, I'm going to get you out of this darn jar. So let's go ahead and there we go. And then I've got the sentiment that I cut out. And there is that first card where I've got my, like that. Okay, so now let's move on to the second jar, which is a shaker jar. So what you do is you take your stamp and you stamp it twice and you cut out a middle. This particular die does cut that out for me already. And then you're going to put your acetate on there. So I'm going to go ahead and I've just got some tape around here, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my acetate on here. Let's see. Trying to find out how all right, let me trim off any pieces that are sticking out. A little bit right here. Okay, so here's my acetate piece. There's a little piece of acetate sticking out over here. Okay, so I've got my acetate in my hole there. So then what you do is you take this piece right here and you're going to go ahead and you're going to do a little bit of ink blending. So I've got this ballet slipper from, and it's such a small piece. And I'm not too worried about the edges as much because it's going to get covered up. So we've got the pink, and then we've got this one. I'm actually just using some different colors because I might use this jar for a Valentine's Day project. So that's why it's, you know, in red and not the colors that I use, because I'm going to, let's get that over there and that over there. Okay, so now we're going to take our foam strip, which this is Tailored Expressions foam strip. I think it's the 1/8. I really like it because it will go around corners. So you just kind of work it around your jar. Okay, and then I've got this other piece right here, which I'm going to use. And okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to put your pieces in here. So these are all from, this calls for confetti. And I have little gems and things I might put on the card. So this is like I'm doing a Valentine's Day mix because I'm going to use this for Valentine's Day. This jar. Ouch. And then you take your liner paper off, and then you carefully just place the backing on there, and you have your shaker. And then you can just fit this piece right on top, and you've got this really cute shaker, which I'm going to use for another project. So for my card, I've got this shaker right here. And so let's go ahead and put this card together real quick. And this is an A2 size card. And so for this shaker, I ink blended some colors that match the paper, so pinks and teals. And then I used some gold watercolor and splattered that on the inside. So this is going to go right here. And actually, I'm going to use a little bit of stronger tape. And like that. And then I've got, again, I like them looking like they're escaping out of the jar. Kind of like that. And then this one is just going to get glued like that. And then I've got my sentiment right here, which I cut out of the paper right there. So here are my 2 fun jar cards using this really pretty paper pad. Make sure you stop by the Not Too Shabby shop and go ahead and check it out. Thank you for watching. This is Cindy Crank Art.